The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Live from Boston, Massachusetts. Here we are at Unscheduled with Les Skymo. You can't hear it? Okay. Well, let's try it again. Live from Boston, Massachusetts, it's Unscheduled with Les Skymo.
And Dave.
And we're here. And you're there. And Dave, I want to thank our military that's doing a great job all over the world. And, me and you been veterans. We done our time. We served our country. And we'll always wear that badge of honor, brother, of being a veteran and taking some time out of our life to serve our nation and to serve other people, and it's a great feeling, Dave, to have that honor. And so they got me in Facebook jail, and so I guess Zuckerberg didn't like my comment, and but I stand by it, and he nailed me for saying Hamas was a terrorist group.
Well, that's a common fact, isn't it? And then the United States recognized Hamas as being
exactly.
After all, their name means violence.
Their name, Hamas, means violence in Arabic.
Yeah.
And it ain't Peter Pan and Little Red Riding Hood on that border throwing rocks, flying kites, and Molotov cocktails across the border, is it?
But Les, censorship of conservative speech by tech giants such as Facebook, YouTube, and Google, and Twitter is nothing new. Claims from former employees state that Facebook hides conservative content from the trending section, backed up by detailed study. Google, YouTube, and Twitter partnered with leftist groups like Southern Poverty Law Center that hate conservatives. And of 25 members on the panel that guides Twitter's policy, 12 are liberals, only one is conservative. Media Research Center's facts on that from our friend Brett Bozell. And Google search aids, Dems and study found about in 2016 campaign search were biased in favor of Hillary Clinton. Instead of, if you looked up anything about the campaigns in 2016, it came up Hillary Clinton. And YouTube is shutting down conservative thought by mistake by removing videos that promote right-wing political views.
Yeah.
Tech companies, Facebook and Google, are relying on anti-conservative fact-checkers like Snopes and which is definitely not, and Wikipedia are not friends to conservatives.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they had Congress had Zuckerberg up there and in front of the congressional panel committee, and he they scorched him for doing that, and they had Diamond and Silk up there. I just love them girls, and they the Democrats tried to scorn them because they had monetized their account and everything, but they put them in their place, and Sheila Jackson Lee got her 2 cents in there, and it was pathetic, brother, So, but now, he nailed me, and so. The last time I was, it was 30 days the last time they got me. So I am a a habitual Facebook criminal. But I just got, I was just thinking, I got a cousin, and he says he's my cousin. He claims to be my cousin, and his name's, he calls himself Dusty Mose, and he what's his name? Dusty Rhodes. You remember Dusty Rhodes, that
wrestler?
Yeah. Well, he'd been acting like him, talking like him for so many years. He's stuck there, and he can't. He's one of them guys that just, he's like an actor that never left his character, and I can just hear him now. And I'll bring him on the show one of these days. I'll get him on the show, but I can just hear him, man. Let's see if I can imitate him here a little bit, Dave. And he would, I know what he would say. And he would say it like this. He would, let's see if I can do it. They got my man. They got him on the Zuckerberg Highway, Daddy. They got him down. He was pro-functionating. He was educating, Daddy. He was laying it down for him, babies. He was telling them like it is, Daddy. And they moved in on him. And here come them blue lights coming down there behind him on that Zuckerberg Highway, Daddy. They pulls him over. They drags him out of the car. They beats him up, brother. They puts him in the jail, Daddy. I can just hear him now, brother. But now we're going to get serious. Here in a little bit, I'm going to try these sound bites that I've got on my phone here and got run through the computer. Now, folks, if you want to call in, it's 1-800-508-5431. Now, give us a call, or you can just sit right there and listen. And but there's been a lot of stuff going on, Dave, in the political world and in the religious world. Got some signs taken down, billboards there in Texas. That God,
Robert Jeffers.
Yeah, Robert Jeffers, and that stating that America was
a Christian nation.
And so the mayor of was it Dallas, and he didn't like that. So he contacted the billboard company, and he got all upset about it. And the billboard company, I mean, they went and took them down, and it was a financial thing for them. I guess they didn't want to get caught in the middle of all this political hoopla, and so they took them down. And there's a lawsuit coming, and you know where that's going. Jeffers is going to win that.
Sure.
And it's just harassment. Christians are they're the target these days, Dave. And so that's one thing that we've seen.
But in Israel, I heard this on the news the other day. Somebody going up to the Mount of Olives. There's a church up there. I forget the name of it. It's a Catholic church. But there's a big billboard up there, and it's put up there by the Muslims. And they said, God has no son. And that's all it says is God has no son.
Yeah.
And they think, well, if God had a son, that means he would have had to have been married.
Right.
That's what they always say.
Yeah.
But they don't understand it. Even Adam was God's son.
Oh, well,
in
sure.
effect.
Yeah.
Because he had no mother. He wasn't born like a conventional human being. He was made from the dust of the earth. So God was his father. So he's creator. So, it's a shame that people are so hateful that they won't allow any freedom of speech in this country. This is, I can see it overseas, but in this country, you should be able to at least have the right of freedom of speech. And if it's not nasty or dirty, I don't see why. But, the Democrats, they say nasty stuff.
Oh, yeah. They're vicious people.
President Trump was in the Capitol building, and one of the young interns, female, said, F you.
Yeah.
Mr. President.
Yeah.
Said Mr. President.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted when I heard that.
Well, Dave, it's like this. When you look at your mainstream media, you look at your Democrats, and probably not all of their aides, but most of them. But now, as far as I'm concerned, the entire mainstream media, And like I said, most of the Democrats, I wouldn't want them for my neighbor. I wouldn't want them to have to work with them vile people. I wouldn't want to have to be around those people. They're not friendly people. They're hypocrites. They're liars. They're of a different spirit. I just, very few of them I really get along with. Now, like I said before, one of my best friends, he's a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. Now, me and him, we bump heads a lot. He's a gun owner. We hunt. We fish together. When we talk about politics, we are dogmatic in our position, and I don't understand, because in so many ways he's a conservative. He just don't recognize it, And but we do get along, and we hang out together. And like I say, we go down to Jackson. We'll spend a week together, but we disagree politically. But now, there's very few, Dave, like him that I could get along with. But now, as far as the mainstream media, there's none of them I'd want for my neighbor.
But they're the mainstream media, they're cheerleaders for the Democrat Party. If you look at them, everything that they suggest, the Democrats do.
Oh, sure.
They come out with it first. It's like this thing that's showing the kids locked up in cages. Half those pictures are old pictures from when Barack Obama was president. And the fact is, they want the issue. They don't want Donald Trump to solve the problem, because all this, what you see is this fake outrage and weeping and crying over these kids. It's not about the kids. It's about getting rid of Donald Trump at all costs. And if they can get rid of Trump, then that's what they're after.
Oh, sure, that's the bottom line.
They want to get rid of Trump, and they want to use that as a campaign issue for this fall. I'm convinced of that, and the Democrat Party and the mainstream news media are right together on this. All together.
Well, I seen a video today. It's a real nice video. Now, I'm able to watch videos, but I can't comment on them, can't share anything, can't do any interact, And, but this video, it went through the difference between Shia and Sunni. It goes through the differences there. They're both Muslim.
Right.
Okay, but they're killing one another because they're each wanting power. Okay, when they take over the earth in their mind.
It's who's the rightful heir to Muhammad is what it boils down to.
Right.
And the Persians are the originators of the Shia sect. They all came from Persia because they recognize, I think, as Muhammad's grandson or one of the blood relatives as the genuine
the one that fell in the well.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't think of his name.
He was the rightful heir to Muhammad.
Wasn't Joseph?
No, I don't know who this guy was. I don't remember who he was, but that's where the contention lies.
Right.
And the holy place for the Shia Muslim is not Mecca. It's Karbala. In Iraq. That's where their holy sites are, and that's why they blow each other's mosques up.
Yeah.
The Sunni and the Shia, because they think each one of them's an infidel.
But see, here's the thing. They will join forces to kill me or you.
Oh, yeah. Or Israelis.
Yeah, right. Or to kill a Jew. And, and then it went on in this video to compare the Democrats and the Republican establishment politicians. And it basically, what it said, and I agree with it, that they're of the same religion, but they're two different denominations. Both of them's end goal is new world order, is a globalism. Okay, and then Donald Trump come along and he mess all that up. So because you've seen all the your establishment Republicans, man, they come out of the woodwork like cockroaches, buddy, and joined up with the Democrats to demonize President Trump in the beginning. Now, some of them backed off of that because they weren't reelected.
Are you talking about on the travel ban?
on anything he does.
Well, the travel ban was absolutely ridiculous. Everybody should have been for that. What it was is countries that cannot vet the people traveling to this country.
Yeah.
People don't understand this. You and I have a driver's license, a birth certificate, a passport.
We
have all these different forms of identification.
Yes.
There's government records that when we commit crimes, it's recorded, and we're kept all of our lives.
Everything's documented.
Everything is recorded. But in these countries where it's a third world country where they ride camels, there is no paperwork on these people.
Right.
If they're terrorists or jihadis, what do? They just jump on it. They get a passport, jump on an airplane, fly to the United States, and do what they want to do.
Yeah,
because they have no records.
Kill a bunch of Americans.
There are no records in these countries.
Right. Well, now see, that brings me to this point. President Trump had a press conference today to announce he's going to sign an executive order, keep these families together over on the border. Now, and as you were talking about those pictures earlier, that was Obama that kept the kids in cages and things, dog kennels, whatever they was. But now this is, the kids are, I tell you what, these kids, they're getting medical care for the first time in their lives, most of them. They're getting dental care for the first time in their lives, most of them. They're getting psychological evaluations. They're getting 3 squares a day, brother, and most of them ain't got 3 meals a day, and they are taken very well care of, and so...
Of course they are.
Yeah.
But Les, I heard somebody say today that it costs $35,000 a year to keep these kids.
There's no doubt about it, Dave.
It takes $35,000 a year.
Yeah.
I mean...
That's on the low side, Dave.
I don't live on myself $35,000 a year.
No.
I don't.
That's on the low side, brother, because doctors ain't cheap. Dentists ain't cheap. These people ain't doing this stuff for free. They have to be paid to do what they're doing. But here's the thing. Talking about no papers. Okay, the argument is we was separating these kids until we found out if these was really their parents, because to try to keep these kids off of the sex trade, keep them from the going into the trafficking, human trafficking, and because they just can't turn them loose with no guardians, no parents.
Well, I heard on the get this, Les. I heard on the news today that if how people from Central America send their kids alone.
Alone.
And they don't have any adult supervision.
Right.
The mothers of these young girls that they sent on to ride on top of a train.
Yeah, I've seen
them.
This.
They give them birth control pills because they know they're going to get raped on the way up here.
Right.
So they don't get pregnant.
Right.
Think about that. It's so violent that these young girls, 12, 13 years old, get raped on these crazy journeys that they're on top of a train.
Right.
Like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And then people are worried about us, the way we keep them up here, and all the chances they take to get here.
Right. Oh, so many of them, Dave. I was watching a video. There's an outfit out in Arizona, and they are scouring certain parts of the desert. And they found a child's skull and the bones and the remains, and they found what they call sex trees, rape trees, where these the men will hang their underwear up in these trees when they rape these children, and they find underground rape rooms and things dug into the ground. This ain't no this is for real, brother. This is for real. And why in this world can't these Democrats and people that's siding with them understand that there's a whole lot worse things happening to these poor children than being separated from their parents long enough to find out who their parents really is. I tell you what, it fries my bacon, Dave. I can't, I get so angry at the stupidity.
No, I agree.
The willful blindness, the fake, emotions over this that the Democrat Party has, the trumped up anger that they have, this phony anger. I just get all tore up over this because people, open your eyes. These children are getting murdered. They're getting sold into the sex slave trade. They're getting raped. Like David said, they're getting. I would dare say, Dave, that over the years, hundreds, if not thousands, of these children haven't even made it this far.
Yeah, probably.
You know.
But the thing about it is that 90% of the kids that we have in our care, under government care, are ones that were sent here alone.
Alone.
There's only 10% of them.
Over 100,000.
There's only 10% of them that are separated from their parents for any length of time.
Yeah.
And that's according to the law.
Yeah.
Think about this. If you or I rob a bank and we have young kids,
right,
we're going to be separated from our kids.
Where's the anger over
because
that?
we committed a crime.
Exactly.
They're not going to take our kids and put them in jail with us.
Right.
Because that's not, you can't do that legally.
Yeah.
They did nothing wrong. But think about that. If you and I commit a crime in this country, no matter what the crime is, and we have young kids, we will be separated from our kids.
Absolutely.
And
for years. Instead of just a few days, 20 days, that they are only allowed to keep them away.
See, they want to go back to catch and release.
Yeah.
That's what Obama did. Obama caught them, registered them, and let them go. So, and only 3% of them ever showed up for their court case.
Right.
So, that's what they want to do, is catch and release.
All right. Here's
more Democrat voters in the future.
President Trump's in a no-win situation, Dave, because he's, I was sworn on this executive order. All right. However, because the intentions of this was to be a deterrent from people coming over here and sending their kids and bringing their kids to cross the border to separate them. And for a period of time, that was supposed to be a deterrent, to keep them from doing that. But they just kept coming. And under Obama, the catch and release, millions of them come here, and we have no idea who they are. MS-13s are killing children all over this place, New Jersey and different states. They're butchering these young kids. You see it all the time on the news. But like I said, President Trump's in a no-win situation unless he fine-tuned, I believe, this executive order, all right, to where that wouldn't happen, to catch and release. Because here's the thing. Here's the Democrats. He snatched the narrative away from the Democrats as far as separating the children. He was smart by doing that. All right. However, this can't keep going on, or it's going to turn back into catch and release. And when we look like Europe, then the Democrats are going to blame the Republicans for it.
No, they won't. They'll never blame them. You know why? Because they're future voters. That's who they want.
Well, if they're not winning elections, that's exactly what's going to happen.
That's what they want. The black vote has dropped, and it's going to continue to drop because they're starting to wise up.
They're waking up.
They're wising up, saying, wait a minute, what exactly has the Democrat Party done for us in the last 50, 60 years?
They're leaving the plantation,
They haven't done anything for us. And more, you're seeing this separation of the black vote. And it doesn't have to be a great deal. If the Republicans get 20-25% of the black vote, that's way more than what they need.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen because you're going to see the black vote go up for Trump in the next election. He's going to get more black vote than he did last election.
Oh, they know they're losing
in 2016.
the black vote.
And that's why they have to have a new lower class. They have to have they're running out of voters. People are wising up.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Their ideas are dead. They have no good ideas.
A lot of these DACA kids, I seen one on there the other day. He got a college degree. He's educated. He's a Trumpster. There's not all of those DACA kids, Dave, are voting Democrat if they could vote. Some of them DACA kids, they understand. And, it's just like the millennials. They're not all brain dead and then out here joining Antifa and stuff like that. But President Trump took the narrative away from you see the Democrats, they still got their panties in a wad over it. And they're always, it's not about America with the liberals, Dave. It's about having the next soundbite, having the next narrative.
It's about having power.
You know, having power, manipulation. They're masters of manipulation.
They will never go for the wall.
You know.
Unless the wall is built, this problem will never be solved.
So,
and if people say the wall won't work, just look at Israel. The wall worked fine.
Yeah.
It worked fine.
Yeah.
And it's still working today.
Right.
The wall works.
Well, see, these people, they need to be, here's the thing. You've broken the law, Dave. You're a criminal. Okay? If I sneak my kids into Coney Island and get caught, okay, and we're all going to get thrown out. Whose fault is that my kids got thrown out of Coney Island?
It's your fault.
Exactly. What's the difference?
For taking them in.
What's the difference?
There's no difference.
You know, it's the same thing. I broke the law. They broke the law.
It's a perfect illustration. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why. Well, I think most America understands this, that you have to obey the law. And it's a lawless, we're in a lawless situation.
Yes.
It's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
And Trump is the recipient of bad press because the mainstream news media are right in it with the Democrats. Right. Because anything that they put up that's against Trump, they're going to be for it. They hate the man.
Yeah.
Their hatred is going. I've never seen anything like this. It's a new low every day.
Yeah, every day.
I just can't imagine if he wins another term, what it's going to be like in 5-6 years from now.
Well, did you hear what Peter Fonda said? He had to go back and apologize.
Yeah, he wanted to grab Baron Trump from Melania's arms and put him in a cage along with a pedophile.
Yeah, now them people are sick. Robert De Niro and that bunch and that...
I'd say the Secret Service will be knocking on your door, Mr. Fonda.
I'd say they done did, because he issued an apology. These people are off the rocker.
Who do they think they are?
Yeah. They are, it just burns me up, man. If I paid attention to it all the time, I pay attention to it a lot, but, from time to time, it really angers me how demonic these people can be. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Dave, I'm going to try something here, and we're going to change subjects.
All right.
Let me try this here.
Let's go for it here. We're going to try a sound bite here.
Yeah, I'm going to try a little sound bite.
Let's see if it works.
And
everybody cross your fingers out there.
Yeah. Let's see if this works.
See if this works.
Oop, I hear beeping. Okay, let's see here now. We're halfway there.
Okay, stand by, everyone.
Stand by.
It's coming.
Holy moly, there's the picture. Let's see what happens.
Okay, here we go.
For too long, the Human Rights Council has been a protector of human rights abusers and a cesspool of political bias. Regrettably, it is now clear that our call for reform was not heeded. Human rights abusers continue to serve on and be elected to the council. The world's most inhumane regimes continue to escape scrutiny, and the council continues politicizing and scapegoating of countries with positive human rights records in an attempt to distract from the abusers in their ranks. Therefore, as we said we would do a year ago, if we did not see any progress, the United States is officially withdrawing from the UN Human Rights Council. In doing so, I want to make it crystal clear that this step is not a retreat from human rights commitments. On the contrary, we take this step because our commitment does not allow us to remain a part of a hypocritical and self-serving organization that makes a mockery of human rights.
What do you think about that? I applaud them, brother.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. The UN, I tell you, Dave, they embrace the devil, and anybody, a nation that's trying to do right, a nation that's trying to do good, especially if it's the Israelites, they'll come against them. Man, they've got Venezuela and China on the Human Rights Council. You believe that?
They've given more citations to Israel than they have North Korea, Iran, Venezuela, and all these other countries combined. How do you figure that? Israel bends over backwards to cut their casualties when there's uprisings on the
Right.
Gaza Strip. They don't want to kill people.
Right.
They just don't want to do it. But what are they going to do?
Dave, they give them land. They give them money.
Land for missile launchers.
You know, yeah. The Gaza
It's not
Strip.
land for peace. It's land for missile
You know,
launchers.
in 1969, at the end of the 6-day Cold War, they give up.
Sinai.
Sinai
They
Desert.
kept the Golan Heights.
They kept the Golan Heights.
And they kept all the way up into Egypt, I think, south of.
Well, God gave them the land from the Euphrates to the Nile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Nile River is on the other side of the Sinai Desert. Okay, they give that back to Egypt. That's a big swath of land right there, brother. And not only that, that had access to the Red Sea there where it forks. Mm-hmm. They had a lot more access to the seaports. And they give that up to try to have peace with the Muslims, and it didn't work. You know, and right after the dedication of the capital going back to the
embassy moving from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Yeah, help me, brother. The very same day they start throwing rocks and kites and burning up things, and
But see,
it's crazy.
But the Palestinians want control of Judea and Samaria.
Well, that's what they want.
That is the heart of Israel.
Well, sure it is.
If they took that land back, it would leave Israel
Divided.
with a strip of land in the north about 6 or 7 miles wide, which is indefensible.
Well, sure.
You can't defend it.
Yeah.
And that's what they want to do. They want to drive Israel into the sea.
Into the sea.
And that's what their goal has been since their existence. Now, it's a funny thing that when Yasser Arafat came into power back in the early 1960s, they had that land.
Yeah.
They had, matter of fact, Jordan controlled all of Jerusalem and Samaria and Judea.
Yeah.
So why would they establish the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization?
Yeah.
Why would they establish that if they already had the land? They wanted all the land. That's why they established the PLO.
And Arafat was an Egyptian.
Common sense would tell you that. Well, wait a minute. What are you fighting for something you already have?
Right. Yeah.
And then when they lost the 67 war, they lost Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And they took it from Jordan. Jordan didn't want to get into that war. They didn't want it.
Yeah.
But it happened anyway. They got involved in it. And they got whipped big time. And they lost Judea and Samaria.
Right.
That's the heart of Israel.
Right. Yeah. That land's been fought over from the get-go, brother.
Israel's not giving it back.
You know, and they're living way below their standards to start with.
But you know, Les, in Genesis 12:3, it says, "I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you."
Exactly.
Now, think about this: the land is. If you try to take the land from them, you're going to have a curse put on you.
Well, sure.
And that's God speaking.
That's
not a joke.
Why do we? And that's exactly, folks, where us as Christians, that is the exact scripture that we derive our fear of coming against Israel from. Mm-hmm. Because we want the blessings of God. We want God to be on our side. Now, they're like any other human. They don't do it all right all the time, Dave.
Right.
But, you know.
But you know, when Israel gave back the Gaza Strip, Ariel Sharon was president or prime minister.
Yeah, Ariel Sharon.
You know what? You know what happened after he gave?
He had a stroke.
Immediately after he gave the land back, he drove the Israelis out of Gaza. I saw it on the news. With the military, he drove all the Israelis out of Gaza.
Started building them housing projects there.
Immediately. What happened was Ariel Sharon suffered a stroke and he was in a coma for about a year or more before he died. But he was, as far as I was concerned, cursed for doing that, for giving that land back.
It should have never happened.
If Bibi Netanyahu has any smarts whatsoever, he'll never make a deal with them
Well, here's the thing,
to give the land back.
You know,
more land.
But, you know, and I thank God for him because he's got the backbone, Dave, to stand up to these tyrants. You know, and it's just like, okay, I've been teaching Sunday school. I'm going through the history of the Hebrews. I want to invite you to come up. You could be a big help to me. And I'm just laying the foundation the past couple of Sundays talking about this. And I made them 19 videos. It's on YouTube, 10-minute videos about it. Just going and all the way up through to today. Mm-hmm. But now my videos only made it up to when the Romans took power. Then I lost my voice. That's back when I was having trouble with my voice. But anyway, Dave, I don't blame Nikki Haley and Pompeo for doing this because they tried to reform that committee. They tried to, the council, they tried to get them to have some common sense. You can't deal with them people. They don't, you know, it's just like it goes in one ear and out the other, brother. And, you know, there again, I don't understand. I just don't understand. Is power worth destroying your own people for? You know, I don't understand that, brother, you know. But now, here's something else. Let's try this soundbite. Let me run this by you right here.
The Democrat National Committee and the Clinton campaign, which we now know are one and the same, paid the law firm, who paid Fusion GPS, who paid Christopher Steele, who then paid Russians, to put together a report that we call a dossier full of all kinds of fake news, National Enquirer garbage. And it's been reported that this dossier was all dressed up by the FBI, taken to the FISA court, and presented as a legitimate intelligence document that indicated the basis for granting a warrant to spy on Americans. I'm wondering if that actually took place. It sure looks like it did. And the easiest way to clear it up is for you guys to tell us what was in that application and who took it there. Congressman, our staffs have been having extensive interaction with both intelligence committees on our interaction with the FISA court, and I think that's the appropriate setting for those questions. Here's what I think, Director Ray. I think Peter Strzok, head of counterintelligence at the FBI. Peter Strzok, the guy who ran the Clinton investigation, did all the interviews. Peter Strzok, the guy who was running the Russian investigation at the FBI. Peter Strzok, Mr. Super Agent at the FBI, I think he's the guy who took the application to the FISA court. And if that happened, think if this happened, if you had the FBI working with a campaign, the Democrats' campaign, taking opposition research, dressing it all up and turning it into an intelligence document and taking it to the FISA court so they could spy on the other campaign, if that happened, that is as wrong as it gets. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. You can clear it all up. You can clear it all up for all of us here, all the Congress who wants to know, and frankly, all of America wants to know. You can clear it all up by releasing. We sent you a letter 2 days ago. Just release the application. Tell us what was in it. Tell us if I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I think that's exactly what happened. And if it did, it is as wrong as it can be. And people who did that need to be held accountable.
That's Jim Jordan from Ohio during them congressional hearings, Dave. And he was grilling Horowitz and Director Ray. Now, here's what I got out of that now. As far as this Ray dude goes, I think he's just as corrupt as the rest of them, Dave. They're trying their best to sit on this dossier and all them documents. They're trying their best to hide stuff, to censor stuff. They sent him a bunch of stuff and it was redacted. Now Horowitz, the one that wrote the IG report, I don't know. I can't really say that he's outright corrupt, Dave, but he's shielding them. He's protecting them. Because he come right out in his report and said, well, all this bias from these FBI agents, you're right, they're biased. They said this, said that in their emails, but I don't think it affected their judgment. Now, what kind of horse crap is that, Dave?
I agree, but the thing is, this is a mess.
It's a mess, brother.
And I don't think we'll ever get to the bottom of it because there's just too many layers.
Oh, yeah.
And they're install tactics, and they're never going to. We're never going to get to the bottom of it because by the time we get close to being to the bottom of it, it's going to be election time.
Yeah.
And then
midterm.
It's going to be election time, and nobody's going to want to do anything about it. So I don't know.
Well,
I know Hillary broke the law, though.
Yeah.
I know that.
Well, you know that
she
guy
got away with it.
that took them pictures on that submarine?
Christian Saucier.
Christian Saucier. He's suing the government because they prosecuted him for them pictures and let Hillary Clinton off the hook. Now, it may not go nowhere, but I applaud the man. You know, he, spent 2 years in prison over that?
See, they had to let Hillary go because she talked to Obama.
Exactly.
They were making correspondence on unsecured email also,
right.
And he knew it because it wasn't a government.
It
wasn't a .gov address. He knew.
Yeah.
He knew what he sent the message to her that it wasn't a .gov, so it was unsecured email.
Right.
So he's busted too.
Right. Well, and you know, if they done the right thing, Dave, every one of them would be in prison if they done the right thing. Okay. And there's 3 more FBI agents that has surfaced with this same bias. Okay, that Strauss and his little girlfriend in the emails. Okay, they're focusing on them two's emails. Okay, and she's a lawyer on top of that, Lisa, whatever her last name is. And but there's at least 5 FBI agents involved in this, not to mention people in the Justice Department.
What I want to know is who initiated this whole investigation on Trump?
Well, that's okay.
And what started it? Where's the actual piece of paper that says this is what happened and this is what we want to find out? There's got to be a beginning for everything.
Well, let's try this other soundbite and let's see.
Director, did Peter Strzok help produce and present the application to the FISA court to secure a warrant to spy on Americans associated with the Trump campaign? Congressman, I'm not prepared to discuss anything about the FISA process. And
Weasel.
We're not talking about what happened in the court.
Now, there again. Now, Jim Jordan's got it figured out, Dave. It was Peter Strauss, in his mind, that prepared that FISA document. Okay, that dossier. He got it all in order, got it all fancied up, got it all lawyered up, and with his girlfriend's help, no doubt, in my mind, and he took that and presented it to the FISA judge, and it was nothing but a big fat lie. And I think, and on top of that, yesterday, Peter Strauss was escorted out of the FBI building. And when they escort you out of the FBI or out of a building off the job, you're fired. They ain't come out. They haven't come right out and said they fired him yet.
I heard they took his gun and badge, but I think he's still getting paid.
Yeah, he's still on the payroll. He hasn't been officially fired. Because
it's hard to get rid of him.
Government employee, period.
If you're a federal agent or you work for the federal government, it's like the VA.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of them VA people who run the VA.
Well,
these individual hospitals. You can't fire them.
President Trump signed an executive order on that too. So let's see if it affects Peter Strauss's job. These people ought to be in prison. Me and you go out here and drive up and down the road, we get a traffic ticket. If we don't pay that traffic ticket, this is a lot more worse than a traffic ticket, brother. We'll go to jail if we don't pay that stupid traffic ticket. But these people from Obama on down, I think it was Loretta Lynch, okay, that had to use the fake name to correspond with Hillary on that, on her, unsecured
Obama
email.
used a fake name too.
Well, was it Obama too?
Well, yeah, he used a fake name.
And these people getting away with it.
I call it a pseudonym. But he's as guilty as that's why he knew he spoke. So Hillary never intended to do anything like to break the law or give up government secrets. She never intended to do that.
Oh yeah,
and
right.
Remember that interview? I like, it was Bill Plant, I think, was interviewing Barack Obama, and he said, when did you find out about the email? He goes, well, I found out just when all you did, when I read it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
But that was a lie because he'd been in communication with her the whole time using a non-government email address.
Right.
See, every government email ends in .gov.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that wasn't a government email that he was sending on an unsecured server. He knew that. Mm-hmm. So he lied when he told Bill Plant of CBS News that he found out when everybody else did in the newspaper.
Yeah.
He lied. Sure, he lied. And he's lied multiple times.
Right.
But nobody seems to care about when he lies.
Right.
And then they're never going to get him.
Exactly.
But he's done more. I'll tell you what, if you took all the scandal that Obama really did that the news media covered up for him, they didn't want to cover it. They didn't want to dig in on it and find out all the stuff that he has done. It would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then they turn right around and all up in arms over these children, which my heart goes out to them kids and stuff. But you break the law. You broke the law. You need to be held accountable for that.
There are consequences for everything you do in life.
Whether it's good or bad, there's a reaction.
There is a consequence for everything you do.
Murphy's Law, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction.
You reap what you sow.
Yes.
If you sow to the wind, you'll reap a whirlwind.
Exactly.
And that's just the way it is. You sow illegal stuff, and you're going to get caught eventually. And you're going to go to jail. You should, but not with Obama and his crew. They never went to jail. They never paid the price.
My information, from what I gather from my sources, they still optimistic about a lot of people going to prison over this. I'm trying, Dave, to stay optimistic about it, but it's taken a monumental effort to stay optimistic about these people being held accountable for this. You've only got, now you watch these hearings, Dave, you've only got 4 or 5 senators and congressmen in the whole House of Representatives and in the Senate that are really dogmatic about this and really going after this. It's not all of the Republicans. It's none of the Democrats. But the majority of the Republican Party don't care. They want to sweep this under the rug, and they want to move on, is what they want to do. And you've got a few, like Jim Jordan, that want to prosecute this. And now Trey Gowdy,
he was tough, man. I saw his opening statement the other day.
But now the other day, though, he wasn't so tough on him.
He was tough.
But now, I think he's coming back on the right side of this issue. He's been really dogmatic about it, but I seen him slipping the other day. And I seen him slipping a little bit the other day. And kind of siding with Mueller, let him do his investigation, blah, 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 So I don't know, I'm trying to stay optimistic about it. Let me ask you this. You're drawing Social Security right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
How long you been drawing it?
Let's see. I think I got my first check on my birthday last year. So
last year.
It's been about a year and a half.
Now, I signed up this year. I'm going to sign up early. My birthday's in October. So I'm going to sign up early, or a little early. I'd like to get it on my birthday or thereabout. That may not happen, but...
Let's see. I think I was 62 and a half when I signed up for it. I'm not sure.
So you was already over the age
I
to
think
draw.
It was in July 2 years ago.
Once again, I want to thank my Facebook friends, Dave, that's watching us tonight and enjoying the show, I hope. And call in. We got a few minutes. 1-800-508-5431. And, you got time to make a phone call if you want to call us and chat just a second. But now, talking about Social Security, do you know, under the Obama administration, 5 million illegals got Social Security checks. You believe that?
I can believe anything that they did. They was crooked through and through.
Here again, let me read this from Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio. Okay. On the record tonight to explain that illegal immigrants, this is in a letter. Let me start at the top. In a letter to Congress, IRS Commissioner John Koshkin defended the decision to allow immigrants to get refunds from the agency. Representative Jim Jordan went on record and tonight to explain that illegal immigrants who got a Social Security number can go back and apply for a refund through the Earned Income Tax Credit. He said this is due to President Barack Obama's executive order on illegal immigration, calling it unconstitutional and unfair, that they didn't get their Social Security. Now, what kind of nonsense is that? That's, and it goes on to say, it's unfair to taxpayers, this is Jim Jordan, that non-citizen illegals are going to get this bonus, that their tax money is going to be used, he said, Jim Jordan, adding that this points to the patent, there we go, I got it, been a long time since I've been to school, patent unfairness of Obama's action. Now, seemed to me like this is extortion.
I didn't think you could get Social Security unless you were a U.S. citizen.
Well, you can if you was...
well, how can you if you don't have a Social Security number?
Obama, give it to him. It's right there.
But I don't think you can do that without...
It's supposed to be a congressional... This is under congressional supervision.
Against the law.
Yeah, it is. Well, what does that mean to the Democrats? It don't mean nothing to the Democrats. And I tell you what, I've got the next few years projected outlays of our federal government's budget, Dave. And we ain't long here. We're going to be out of time. But I've been wanting to get into this for a few weeks. But now this is from May 2nd, 2018. Now, this year, our estimated outlay, the gross public debt is $21,048,000,000, or however you say it, dollars. Okay. And then in trillion. 2020, 23 trillion. 2021, 25 trillion. The outlays for 2022 is 26 trillion. 2023 outlays $27 trillion.
Well, see, we don't really know if that's going to be accurate.
No.
Or not, we don't know what the economy is going to be doing.
It's always underestimated.
But if it's over 4% GDP, which you're calling for this quarter, then those stats will be all way off, because there'll be more people working, more people paying taxes, so the national debt will go down. The federal budget will have more cash on hand because there'll be more people working because of the bigger economy.
Right.
So
we're hoping these numbers are wrong.
See, people don't understand that with tax cuts, they stimulate the economy. It causes more people to work, more people to be hired. So therefore, you have a bigger economy. You have a bigger pie to take each cut out of. So the pie gets bigger when the economy gets bigger. So for every point, I think it's like $3 trillion or something like that the economy goes up in growth, which is huge for just 1 point.
Right.
And with Obama, we ran like an average of 2 points or even less sometimes of growth per quarter in the GDP. So as the GDP goes up, if we get more growth, then the economy will do much better, and it's going to look better for re-election for Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that it's good enough to where they'll leave the Social Security money alone. That goes into your Social Security comes off of the extra money that your government takes in each month, each month and each year. It goes into a 15-year bond, okay? And when it goes into that 15-year bond, the problem is, and we'll get into this a little bit later on, as soon as that money goes into that 15-year bond, it's eligible for Congress to go right in there and snatch it out. You remember the lockbox I was talking about?
Wake up.
That was nothing but a ruse. That was nothing but a smoke screen, Dave. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. And we've got about just a few seconds here, Dave. And but I want to thank everybody on Facebook. I want to thank our producer, Jimmy. Thank you, sir, for everything you've done for this show and been there for us. And Dave, I want to thank you for being my co-host. When I first started this show, I was just going to go it alone and I just do it myself, but you come aboard and help me, and I ask you to do this, and I appreciate that, brother. So you got about 30 seconds or less.
Everybody stay glued to the TV because it's going to be a bumpy ride because Trump is a character not to be messed with. I'll tell you that. He's going to fight back, whereas Republicans in the past never fought back. Trump will fight back.
All right. Hey, God bless you. Next time, 7 p.m., unscheduled. Let's Skymo and Dave. God bless you and good night.
Revolution, gun control the sound. So shooting rockets to the moon. Kids going up too soon. Politicians say more taxes will solve everything. And the band plays